However, as I watch it, I think, oh, that has a good body weight. It has all these other positive attributes. It still exhibits some oscillation, albeit very faintly, just tiny oscillations that jiggle back and forth as it moves. Additionally, we can now discern right away that those shins, or whatever the lower leg components are unquestionably structural. Elon is going to remove the coverings after he complained that the competition was undertaking a frame-by-frame analysis. I am aware that there are many things that were before hidden from view. They appear smaller. Basically, I was thinking, my goodness, what's Elon doing tonight? Following today's chancellery judgment, we are aware that he is in the Optimus lab, where he is observing everything and essentially avoiding distractions. This is Tesla's amazing humanoid robot, Optimus. We'll examine Optimus in detail in this video, covering everything from its remarkable gait and complex architecture to its possible charging options. Additionally, we have some intriguing information about how motion capture is transforming its advancement. But before we begin, remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons to become a part of our always expanding Tesla stock news community. We're waiting for you with the most recent Tesla news, stock analysis, and cutting-edge tech conversations. So fasten your seatbelts because Tesla is bringing you the robotics of the future. To fully grasp why Optimus is causing a stir in the tech sector, let's first take a closer look at its fascinating world. Are you ready? Come on, let's roll. At what I believe to be the Palo Alto factory, Elon shocked everyone by introducing Optimus, the walking robot. It looks likely that it's Palo Alto, but I can't be positive. The exciting part is that we were able to witness Optimus walk. It has a nice distribution of body weight and is remarkably realistic. Its gait does, however, exhibit some faint oscillations, just little jiggles back and fro. It has a hanging tether at its back that is typically attached to the bot and a yellow tag on its side. For the walking demonstration, they have taken it off. Additionally, since the skin has been removed, we can now see that the lower leg sections are structural. This dispels any uncertainty regarding their intent. Examining the walk, one may see that the legs are not completely straight and that there is a pronounced toe-off. This is similar to what we witnessed in the December video. In fact, Elon Musk's demand for frame-by-frame analysis has been successful. The internal mechanisms are much more visible when the coverings are removed. The leg motors are more compact and sleek than previously, particularly the hip ones. Compared to some other bots on the market, Optimus looks quite skeleton without the outer shell, like a stick figure. Once hidden, the shoulder now displays its eye patrol system with 3 interconnected joints. Additionally, the cable routing appears to be well structured. There seems to be a tiny tilt from horizontal, however, it's hard to tell for sure. The fans in charge of cooling the battery are plainly visible. Instead of chilling air, they are probably cooling a liquid, which may be more important when charging than during normal use. It's important to keep in mind that the robot's heat generation impacts not only particular parts of its body, but the entire body when thinking about the energy dynamics of the battery pack. Effective active cooling becomes crucial to enabling high-speed charging. For this reason, it can be a little difficult to determine whether fans are present on the opposing side. Similar to human sweating, the significant heat emission zones appear to be centered in the armpit and underarm areas. This suggests that while the bot is operating, its temperature may rise. The tethering of Optimus is a major revelation. It used to be tied through the top of the head, but it appears that this technique has been abandoned. One reasonable explanation for this shift is to prevent the neck region from being overworked by bearing the weight of the entire body. Despite having large parts like battery, CPU, GPU, and FSD chips, Optimus has an incredibly streamlined architecture. This design contrasts sharply with other versions, which frequently have big constructions resembling backpacks. On its back, though, there is an odd part that begs the question of what it is used for. Although it's unclear exactly how Optimus charges, it's probable that this block acts as a charging converter of some kind. One reasonable theory is that Optimus runs on a DC system, which reduces the requirement for the possibility of software limiting these bots to 90% of their battery life is another factor to take into account. Limiting access to the top 10% of the battery will greatly increase its lifespan, even though it may only have a 2.5 kW capacity. This strategy would work better for humanoid robots than for automobiles, where the additional 10% range is more important. Additionally, compared to cars that might have to travel farther to reach a charging station, the convenience of nearby charging stations enables deeper battery discharges. A closer examination of Optimus reveals a wrist mechanism with two joints that have some slop, allowing for a large range of motion. Like the human hand, these joints may rotate and articulate and resemble spherical joints. Notably, the wrist is now smaller and more compact thanks to design changes. Additionally, the Optimus has simplified hip and pelvic components with notably reduced motors. This simplified design makes it look more effective and beautiful. Because humanoid walking requires a different axis of motion, the hip joint's center of rotation seems to be slightly lower than that of a human. Although the bot's stride length and top speed may be limited by this design modification, it is appropriate for the factory setting where a fast walking pace of about 5 miles per hour is not necessary. Without more precise pictures, we cannot say with certainty whether the elbow mechanism has changed much. It appears to be mostly in line with the earlier design, though. Interestingly, a heat sink is visible at the front, indicating that Optimus has a significant amount of processing power. Given how noticeable the fans are, there is clearly a cooling system in place, most likely a cooling liquid that runs around the batteries, CPU, GPU, and FSD parts. Let's now examine that complex Optimus mechanism in more detail. Given the restricted perspective we have here, it is admittedly a little difficult to understand the precise workings. Recall that the old version had more clarity thanks to that noticeable black element that extended over the top. It appears to have been streamlined in this new design, though, which might have caused the axis of rotation to move farther back. Indeed, when you have a chance to compare photos and even obtain access to better ones, some things become more apparent. We'll try our best with what we have, but regrettably, there isn't currently a way to download the movie for a more thorough examination. Going on to the hip region of Optimus, it is clear that the parts are lighter and more compact than in the previous version. The lack of coverings has left some wiring exposed, but it's important to note that cable raceways are present and neatly wrap these wires. Even without its skin, Optimus looks elegant and effective, in contrast to some other robots that look like a maze of wires. The group appears to have given careful consideration to keeping the design neat and functional. Moving on to the fascinating subject of leg mobility, it is evident that Optimus's knees never fully lock out. Instead, they remain slightly bent during the walking cycle. The capacity to replicate a human's natural stride is a classic robotics task, observers. Optimus exhibits remarkable hip and torso movements, mimicking the minute weight shifts and rotations of a human walker, while there is still opportunity for development. Examining the arm systems, we see that the elbow joints mostly follow earlier designs. In contrast, the wrist mechanism has become more compact and streamlined. It's not enough to merely observe Optimus's amazing developments from a distance. With the most recent information on Tesla, stock price targets, innovation, and all things Elon Musk, Seeking Alpha is the one-stop shop for Tesla bulls and those with an eye for finding the next big thing in the stock market. The greatest online source of pro-Tesla news is Seeking Alpha. Get down to the facts and avoid the lamestream media's anti-Tesla rhetoric. For a unique discount, click the link in the description. Motion recording mocap configuration. It turns out that the odd dots you saw are motion capture markers, which are commonly employed to capture human movements. The interesting part, though, is that they can utilize this to map Optimus and people. They can create a baseline for Optimus to follow by recording human movements. To improve the accuracy of the robot's movements during training, loss functions can be developed using the motion capture data. Try is one of the many areas of development where this large motion capture space may be useful. We appreciate your participation today and hope to see you in our upcoming videos.